5 days after the start of this year's Olympics, Paul Saladino once again posted a video on social media with a pretty bold claim.
I challenge you to find a single athlete in this year's Olympics who will win a medal who is vegan. There are probably some athletes who are plant-based and eating some animal products, but if you look at the nutrients in meat and animal food, I think most, if not all, athletes and coaches will tell you they are essential for optimal performance.
At this year's games, there was a big push for more plant-based options on the menu, specifically because of the environmental impacts of meat production, which we will not gonna get too much into today, maybe a little bit at the end. For these reasons, the organizers of the Paris Olympics set a goal of doubling the amount of plant-based foods that were served compared with any previous Olympic Games. The Olympics just finished a couple weeks ago, so the question on my mind after watching Paul's video was, did any vegan athletes make it onto the podium and got a medal? In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down Paul Saladino's criticism of vegan diets for athletic performance and explaining in more detail exactly what the food looked like for athletes in the Olympic Village. Because the news clips I just played actually got a few things wrong. I'm also going to reveal the results of a few vegan athletes at this summer's games and give you my perspective as a registered dietitian and former sports dietitian for pro athletes on whether plant-based diets are a bad choice when it comes down to fitness and performance. So make sure you keep watching. It's gonna be a good one. Hey everyone, it's Andres here. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm a registered dietitian and I've been working with clients for the past 12 years. Early on in my career, I worked a lot with athletes as a sports dietitian for elite players, including Olympic athletes. In fact, this year I had an athlete who was going to represent Trinidad in the Olympics, but unfortunately he got injured and couldn't make it. But we worked all year long trying to get them prepared for that. Now, I helped them use nutrition as a tool to get a competitive edge. Now, with my company PlantBased Nutrition, I've pivoted a little bit to helping busy dads specifically like myself lose weight and build muscle in a way that's simple, sustainable, and based on the very same strategies I use to help athletes become top performers. And that's exactly what I share on this channel. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss anything that comes out from me in terms of videos and content for this channel. Now, I wanted to mention my background as a sports dietitian for high-level athletes because that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video as I react to the video clip I showed a preview of earlier from Paul Saladino. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this video based on my experience and the latest sports nutrition research, and I'm going to be focusing on one key question, which is, can you be vegan and perform at the top level as an athlete? Now, before I answer that question, I want to go through the rest of Paul's video to take a closer look at some of the claims that he is making. Let's take a look.
I challenge you to find a single athlete in this year's Olympics who will win a medal who is vegan. There are probably some athletes who are plant-based and eating some animal products, but if you look at the nutrients in meat and animal food, I think most, if not all, athletes and coaches will tell you they are essential for optimal performance. The vast majority of athletes performing at the highest level in any sport are benefiting from the unique nutrients found in animal foods. I don't understand how most people reconcile this in their minds, that these foods that are so bad for us are the foods that athletes need to perform at the highest levels. Show me how many athletes at the games will actually eat those plant-based meals and how many vegan athletes are going to medal at this year's games, and we have the answer to our questions.
Paul Saladino is an extremely popular and controversial nutrition influencer. He has millions of followers across his platforms, and I've reviewed some of his content before. And I'm going to link that video in the description so you can go back to it and have some fun reading the comments. On that video, like I mentioned, I got quite a bit of pushback in the comment section about some of the thoughts that I share. So I want to start off this video by saying I am not attacking Paul Saladino himself. He can do whatever he wants. That is never my goal with any of these reaction videos that I create. All I care about is the information that is being shared and whether the information is based on actual scientific research. And if it's not, I want to clear up the BS to make things simpler for you as you're navigating your health journey. Also, I'm not using this as a way to try to get more views and likes and stuff like that. That's some of the arguments that people make in the comments. I don't care. I mean, I would love to have that kind of influence to support people the right way, but I don't think I have the moral compass to be recommending things that are just simply completely go against what is being shown in research. But anyways, that's a story for a different day. Now let's talk a bit about vegan diets. So not the first time I talk about them in here. One thing that's important to know about me as we get into this conversation is that I am what I like to call diet agnostic, meaning that I'm here to support you no matter what your preferred dietary lifestyle is. Nutrition is completely personal, so my role as a dietitian is to give you the most up-to-date evidence-based nutrition information and help you find something that works for you. I personally am not vegan, nor do I want to be, nor do I plan to be, but I've coached many clients who prefer to follow up plant-based diets because that's what they prefer and thrive on, whether it's for health reasons, ethical reasons, environmental reasons, or whatever. In terms of health benefits, the question of whether vegan diets are healthier is controversial and very nuanced. And there are many different angles that we can look at this topic from. So I won't have time to cover everything today as usual. So I'm specifically going to be looking at the impact of vegan plant-based diets on athletic performance. You might remember that a few years ago, a popular and controversial documentary came out on Netflix called The Game Changers, which focused on the benefits of vegan diets for athletes specifically. I'm not going to do a full deep dive into The Game Changers in this video, but basically it followed the journey of several vegan athletes as they trained and competed at high-level events. While some aspects of the film are credible, it has been criticized majorly for cherry-picking data to fit its agenda, and they started making broad generalizations based on small or weak studies and presenting a biased view in favor of veganism.
I stumbled across a study about the Roman gladiators. How could the original professional fighters be so powerful, eating only plants?
The film's suggestion is that vegan diets are superior to omnivorous diets, which is you eat animal and plant-based foods, when it comes down to overall health and physical performance. And I think this really captures one of the major problems with the content being produced about veganism, which is that you will rarely get a balanced perspective on this topic. You've either got people like Paul Saladino claiming that vegan diets are a terrible choice for health and performance, or you got vegan documentaries and influencers claiming that vegan diets are superior to any other diet. Rather than trying to pick one side of the spectrum just for the sake of being polarizing and getting more views on social media, let's look into some facts, starting with a couple of definitions. When I use the term vegan, I'm referring to someone who does not eat any products that come from animal and typically doesn't wear or use animal-based products. Often this group chooses veganism for ethical or environmental reasons. Their diet would mainly consist of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, herbs, and spices. Another term you might have heard is plant-based, which is often used interchangeably with veganism. However, someone who follows a plant-based diet might just choose food products without animal products and may not be as concerned about wearing or using animal-based products. And finally, a less common term that is my favorite is plant-forward. This describes a diet that places a strong focus on plant-based foods. They may include limited amounts of animal products. Now, I personally love this plant-forward approach. It's kind of how I live. When you have a focus on including more plant-based foods, you're typically getting a lot of fiber and nutrients, so you don't have to be fully vegan to experience the benefits of eating more plants. This can help reduce levels of LDL, quote-unquote bad cholesterol, regulate your blood sugar levels through increased fiber consumption, and helping with weight management. This term, plant-forward, actually, I think it's also a great description of the food that was served at the Olympics. In the video clip I showed earlier, the newscasters claimed that 60% of the food being served at the Olympics was vegan, but it looks like some facts got mixed up in here, so I wanted to clarify that. Philip Wurst, the Paris Games head of food, he said in a BBC interview that most venues for spectators served 60% plant-based options. One stadium, the Huron Park at Place de la Concorde, which hosted the skateboarding, breakdancing, and BMX events, it's entirely meat-free, and soccer stadiums were mandated to offer 40% plant-based foods since they're mainly based outside of Paris and have long-standing arrangements in place for catering matches. Some challenges came up at the beginning of the games, with food for the athletes with complaints that there were shortages of meat and eggs. However, this apparently was resolved fairly quickly after the first reports of the shortages. Additionally, Wurst emphasized that the 60% plant-based quota of food offerings was only applicable to venues serving spectators and not to athletes inside of the Olympic Village. Around 30% of offerings inside competitors' food halls are vegetarian, with many different meat dishes also available on the menu. Wurst was also quoted as saying, "It's impossible for us to impose on a foreign delegation a diet. Athletes have their special diets, and as an organizing committee, our main role is to ensure that they feel at home. So already you can see that Paul Saladino's videos was based on inaccurate information. No surprise there. There was no effort made to force athletes to eat plant-based foods or change their usual diets. Now, what about vegan athletes on the podium, which is really the answer that you want to have? Well, I think one of the most notable examples here is Novak Djokovic. I used to play tennis, so I'm a big fan. He won his first Olympic gold medal in men's single tennis at age of 37, and he describes his nutrition as plant-based. However, there's been some disagreement between various sources online about whether his diet is fully plant-based, so let's take a look at a couple other examples. Another plant-based athlete at this year's games is Vivian Kong. She won gold medal in fencing, and she's been vegan since 2017, despite her family joking, no meat, no champion.
Hi, I'm Vivian, and this is Yo-Yo, my best friend, and we're here at Treasure Vegetarian Restaurant in Hong Kong. I'm vegan, and Yo-Yo's flexitarian and always vegetarian when she's with me.
There's also Diana Taurasi, who played women's basketball for Team USA and credits her vegan diet for allowing her to recover faster and play even better than she did when she was younger. Taurasi has won 6 Olympic gold medals and has won every game of the Olympics she's competed in, and is considered to be one of the greatest WNBA athletes of all time. Now, Diana didn't really get much playtime this year, but she has been plant-based before and won gold before as well. And then you have a couple Brazilians, Ana Carolina and Macris Carneiro, who took the bronze medal this year in volleyball and silver in Tokyo 4 years ago, who are also vegans. Now, I'm not giving you this example to try and tell you that vegan diets are superior to an omnivorous diets, because I don't agree that they are. Of course, the majority of athletes do eat meat products, and there are reasons for that. Meat provides a high-quality source of protein that helps athletes recover and build muscle. Meat also provides a number of important molecules that can support athletic performance, including things like taurine, L-carnitine, choline, alpha-lipoic acid, conjugated linoleic acid, glutathione, creatine, coenzyme Q10, minerals like heme irons and zinc, and bioactive peptides. However, the point I want to make is that just because meat has benefits for athletes, that does not mean that an athlete cannot be a top performer without meat. Current research suggests that although there are no data to suggest an athletic benefits to adopting a vegan diet, it would also appear that one can follow a vegan diet without impairing performance or adaptation. While more research in this area is honestly needed, what I can conclude right now is that if somebody wants to follow a vegan diet, they can do so while performing at a high level, as long as that diet is well planned. Compared with an omnivorous diet, more careful planning is required to make sure that vegan athletes are getting the necessary nutrients in the necessary quantities, and protein intake in particular can be a challenge for some plant-based eaters, to be honest. So this is the main drawback of a vegan diet. It can be harder to do it the right way than it is to follow a nutrition plan that includes meat. For that reason, working with a registered dietitian or sports nutrition professional can be extremely beneficial for anyone who wants to follow a vegan diet, but specifically for athletes. I'm not going to get too much into the environmental controversies, but I want to invite you to check out Diana Rogers. She's the author of a book called The Sacred Cow, who provided a strong evidence of the true environmental impact of cattle in the world and how many vegan supporters do not have it right. But again, a topic of conversation for a different day. To finish up today's video, I'm just going to summarize by saying that this video from Paul Saladino is more fear-mongering like many other videos you'll find across his social media channels. Maybe not as strong as saying vegetables are out there to kill you, but it's just another piece of content designed to create controversy and gain more views by pushing an extreme one-size-fits-all perspective rather than seeing nutrition as nuanced and personalized. And here's a question for you, Paul. How many carnivore athletes won a gold medal this year? I'll wait. And if you're watching this, feel free to drop it in the comments if you can find one. Oh wait, Paul used to support carnivore and wrote a book about it, but guess what? He changed his mind? Anyways, enough for today. Thank you so much for tuning into today, and I'm hoping that this helped clear up the confusion around the topic of vegan diets for performance. If you come across any other videos you'd like me to watch and react to on any topic related to nutrition or weight loss, make sure you leave a comment or send me a message on my Instagram, where I show up every day sharing something about me or my parenthood journey. Anyways, let me know. Bye for now. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you soon.